Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. One of the really hard aspects of homesteading for us has been knowing when to turn around and go, this isn't working for us, or we don't like this. For us, we are really big animal lovers, so it is very hard for us to go, okay, I liked you for a while, but now it's time to move on. It's time to be done with this or done with that. With that being said, this weekend we made the difficult choice to get rid of all of our turkeys. And we did that for quite a few reasons, actually, and I wanted to share those with you guys because turkeys were something that we weren't really sure if we ever wanted to get into, but we kind of got a good deal on them, so we were like, let's just go ahead and try this out. So the turkeys that we were raising, they were the midget white turkeys. So growing out, like live weight or whatever, the toms would get up to about 15 pounds-ish, and then the hens would be anywhere from like 8 to 12 pounds. So they're really small birds. They don't get anywhere near as large as like the broad-breasted white, which the toms for them, I think, get up to like 60 pounds or something insane. So we knew that since they're a heritage breed, they would also grow slower. And that was something that we were okay with because we're like, okay, they're smaller. It'd be like how we raise all the Bantam chickens because they're smaller, take up less space, eat less food, make less poo. And just, really utilizing what our 2 acres, trying to find out what our 2-acre farm could actually produce, what we liked and what we didn't like. Pretty much since we moved here, actually, we've been doing a lot of different experimentations to figure out what we like, what works for us, what works for our land, and what we do not like. Bees were one of those things that we did not like it. So with the turkeys, the reason that we got rid of them, because we did hatch some out, we did have some go broody. They didn't successfully hatch out, which not a big deal. We have incubators. We also have Bantam chickens, like I said. They'll hatch out anything. But so that wasn't a big deal, the lack of mothering. We did have some hens, like I said, they went broody often, but it'd be in really bad places that then they'd have to fight raccoons to keep the eggs. It was a mess. The biggest reasons why we got rid of them, though, is because, for one, our barn is very small. Where they chose to roost at was actually one of the rafters that goes right above the stanchion where I milk the goat at. And they used to basically poop on top of my head almost every single freaking day. It got to the point where even when it was warm outside, we were actually wearing hoodies and stuff just to cover up like this, just to walk through the barn, because you would get bombed so many times. It would be several times a week that either I or Tracy would have to go in, stop milking, stop doing anything with the animals, just to go in to go take a shower, because it'd be in our hair, on our face, on our backs. It just was not a pleasurable experience. They also used to poop on top of the goats too, as you could imagine. Not a fun experience to be wrapped around a goat trying to get milk while you're having poo right by your face. Don't recommend it. The other things too that we found that we did not like about having the turkeys here was that they actually tore up the ground way too much. While that was a nice feature of them when we first bought this place, because they also would come up into the woods, they would turn over leaves like crazy, eat a whole bunch of ticks, and really try to get the pest pressure really down. After it's all gone, they still want to continue that same behavior and doing that to things in the garden, doing that to our berry bushes, our fruit trees, eating every single berry that our berry bushes were producing, including stuff that was up in the woods, so there became nothing that I could forage this year. They also kept coming up in the woods, eating all of the wild mushrooms that they potentially found. It's either that, or because of the drought, that's why we didn't have literally any mushrooms. Even the turkey tails did not do anything this year. And I assume that that is because of the turkeys coming up here, eating everything. The turkeys are also why we ended up fencing in most of our property, because they would not stay home, which was very frustrating because they just wanted to go eat the neighbors' ticks. And, while that is kind of cool and it is convenient, to get it more under control, it's not ideal to have them going across the road and way into somebody else's pasture. The people that live beside us there, they actually raise deer as part of their business to do like big time hunting things. There was times that our turkeys ended up in their deer pasture where their deer are at. So it was kind of a big deal to keep them home. The other reasons too why we didn't want to keep going on with raising turkeys, and this is not just a breed specific thing, this is just the reality of raising birds when you don't have government subsidizing to make things artificially cheap. It cost us to raise up the 7 young turkeys from hatch to butcher date. Each turkey probably cost us around $200 in feed, which is insane because we can raise meat rabbits. They take about 12 weeks to be butcher size, and they're about 4 pounds or so when, hanging weight or whatever you want to call it. So we get 4 pounds of meat, and it's roundabouts like $2 to $3 a pound to raise them because they can just eat grass. You can move them in tractors, and it's virtually the same quality of meat because it's better quality because they're much younger. The turkeys that we had, it took them, I think 6 or 7 months before we butchered them, and we should have let them go longer. The only reason that we did them then was because our land could not sustain having that many turkeys on it at the same exact time. We also couldn't mentally handle watching them fight constantly because, well, they were jerks. So, yeah, we turned around. We realized that turkeys were not the way for us, even though I really enjoyed having the boys follow me around and all that stuff. It was fun. I liked it. They laughed at my jokes even when they were terrible. Like right now, they would have been like, gobble, 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 to laugh at my terrible joke right then. But there was features of them that were very endearing that we really liked about the breed, of them being smaller and whatnot. But when it's like roughly $200 for 5 pounds of meat, that can't be justified. That is actually insane. We started really trying to figure out how much feed different birds were costing us, how much we were spending, and really looking at things at a financial standpoint on the homestead. And we realized that we were spending hundreds of dollars a month on bird feed. So we have to do something. But yeah, it is a lot quieter around here. It's a lot more peaceful around here. And God, is it so much nicer to go in the barn and not have to cover everything up, hoping and praying that you don't get pooped on just to get some fresh milk. Like, for those of you wondering, I do use a milk machine. I should state that because of the fact that there is 0 chance that any poo particles could get into the milk. Figured I should probably state that out because somebody's probably going to be like, oh my God, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. But it's really not. It's what it is whenever you have a barn that has to host multiple species of animals. Is there becomes cross-contamination, there becomes weird things, there becomes awkwardness and stuff. But yeah, anyways, I've got things that I have to do, like finish processing the turkeys that we butchered. So I'm going to cut this off here. So if you guys have ever decided on your homestead to turn around and to stop trying something, or that something just doesn't work, or a certain species you found did not work, let me know in the comment section, because I think that somebody in this group is probably going to be able to learn something from all of our collective experiences and knowledge, and things of that nature. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.